Welcome to the Millionaire Mindset X, where we bring people to the table for multiplied conversations. Here, we do not gatekeep, we give you access, and we help you shift your mind from lack to abundance. I am your host, Fire Ash, and if you're ready to take your mindset to the next level, I just want to say, hey, friend, welcome to the table. So on today, I have the first runner up for my April lineup, and I just want to say the roster is hot. We starting off with some bangers. And so I am so elated. I'm so excited to be able to have my sister Kenya on. And so let me tell you a little bit about Kenya. So Kenya Ransom is a connector in chief, visibility strategist, and a founder of All Things Loop. Through signature events and visibility platforms, she helps busy solopreneurs stay connected in their existing network and to turn those connections into real collaborations and opportunities. With a background in media, relationship-driven branding, and community-centered experiences, Kenya is known for helping entrepreneurs stop building in isolation and start leveraging the relationships they already have to grow with intention, impact, and sustainability. And so, Kenya, I always like to ask my guests the famous question, who are you beyond the bio?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. So, who am I beyond? I am a mother. I am a wife. I
Yes.
am a lover of nature. I love to go out and walk, and I'm a lover of family. I am such a
Yeah.
family girl. And I'm a lover of God. I love
Yes.
God, and I am excited about what He's doing. And so I'm just all things, just really relationship. Anything that has to do with
Yeah.
relationship. That's what I am, and that's who I aim to be every day.
You definitely are a relationship girly. And I say that because I remember our first conversation. I think I sent you an audio and I was like, I'm not really good at texting, but I'm an audio girly. And I remember we were like going back and forth audioing it and audioing. And it felt so comfortable.
Yeah.
It was like, do I know her? Like,
Right. Right.
such an easy conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's just who I am. It's all about really just um the connection for me.
Yeah.
Some connections are better than others, of course, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Kenya at the core of whatever, whoever and whatever it is. And people would not believe this, and people would like,
Hmm.
especially when they meet me. I am a real introvert, like a real introvert. So when people
I
say
definitely don't
relationships,
believe you.
I, I really am. I really, really to the or ask my family. They know the most. Like I can sit in a room and be the quietest person over there and don't say anything. And I just be like, and people like, who's Kenya? That's me. Like that's just at the core of who I am. But like I love people and I love building with people. I have
Yeah.
understood for a very long time that I cannot do this alone. And
Yeah.
I understand that building in isolation is just not for me. This is how I have built all things loop, by building relationships and connecting with others. And so I
Yeah.
learned a long time ago that doing it alone was just not going to work, and I knew I needed to connect with people in a different
Mm.
way. And once I do that, then the success will come.
So I have two questions that you didn't easily walked me into, but I'm gonna pivot. Before I ask one of those questions, I want to ask you because I know that you have a magazine. I know that you have so much experience in media. So I want to know before I go into the next question is. I want to know more about that background. Like, how did you get started in media? How did you end up creating your own magazine? Like, tell me that story.
Yeah, so I started. So I've always wanted to be a writer. As far as I could think about it, I always tell this story because it's so true. I was maybe like 9 or 10, and I used to write this book, Friends for Life, and it was
Oh,
like a 450 page, like back and front
uh,
pages, and my cousins would come over every weekend to see what was going to happen the next
uh,
week. So I've
wow.
always had that love for writing. I've always had like
Yeah.
just that niche of storytelling. It wasn't
Yeah.
until I got to maybe college at Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri, where it became like really like really business wise,
Yeah.
like this is how you supposed to write. This is the stories and what stories to tell, how to do grammar and things
Yeah.
of that sort. So it wasn't until then that I, got business wise, and then I said to myself, I'm like, dang, I really want to take this to, the next level. I really want to do
Yeah.
something else. And I was on at that point, I was on the newspaper team, and I can't remember what our newspaper team was called, but I was on a newspaper team, and I was like, I'm gonna do a magazine. And at that time, I was maybe like in my sophomore year in
Yeah.
college, and I was like, I'm gonna do this magazine. And I'm like, I don't know what am I gonna do? So I did not do anything until maybe to after I graduated, and so I started what was at that time Action Magazine, and Action Magazine was for youth. It was for youth entrepreneurs, and it was for youth who were doing really really good, and just really as successful entrepreneurs. So I did Action Magazine for maybe about 6 or 7 years.
Oh
I took a
wow.
break, and when I did Action Magazine, I will always say Deidrea always helped me in that. And that was another. That's I've always had connections with one person, and we've always built together. So
Wow.
Deidrea helped me with Action Magazine. We used to interview all types of people all over Chicago. Like if
Yeah.
people saw this saw this interview and they was from Chicago in that time, they would know who Action Magazine it was and
Wow.
is, because we used to interview everybody. Anybody that came through Chicago, we were like the interviewers. Like we was going to interview. So
Wow.
I did that for a couple of years. And I took a break, and I was just like, you know what? I had got burnt out. I was just, it was
Yeah.
so at that point tiresome. I didn't really love it anymore. I just really wanted to. I had missed so many family gatherings and so many family, friendship things like that. I just wanted to just kick it, I just wanted
Yeah.
to do my whole thing. And so I took about what was supposed to be maybe a year. Ended up being about 4 to 5 years, and then
Okay.
in that time I got a job, very successful job. I was climbing ladders, I was making money, and I lost my job.
Oh wow.
Like, oh man. So wait a minute. And when I'm not talking about like a minimum wage job. I'm talking about a good job,
A good job.
a
Okay.
good job, like a
Yeah.
really good job. And it hurt me because I was just like, oh my goodness. But watch this story. So I said, oh my goodness, I lost my job. And so I said, okay, I was trying to figure out what's the next step. I'm thinking job, which I still feel like God just really whatever. But
Yeah.
so I'm still thinking job. But God was like, start the magazine again. I'm like, well, I don't want
Yeah.
to do Action Magazine anymore. I don't know. And
Yeah.
that's when All Things Loop was birthed, and that was in 2017. And in that moment, I was like, how am I going to really reach beyond Chicago and
Yeah.
beyond Indiana? Because I'm from Gary, Indiana. And I said, how am I going to do that? And God in that moment helped me to put together this 5 city tour.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I had not been in media in about 4 or 5 years. I hadn't interviewed anyone. I hadn't did anything that pertained to media. All I did project management, and I was just all in that world. So how am I gonna do this 5 city tour, guy? Like I don't know these people. What
Right.
are you asking from me? Like I can't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
And I started reaching out to people. One person actually told me, it said, and I started reaching out, and one person said to me, you may have to wait a year because nobody knows you. You may have to wait a year, build up your brand and things and so, which is really good advice, and which is, in any likelihood is the right advice to tell
Yeah.
someone that is just starting back out. So
Yeah.
I said to myself, I said, maybe he's right. Maybe that's what I need to do.
All right.
but it wasn't. I began to start searching and began to start reaching out to different people, saying, "Hey," and just really for real going into people's DMs and being like, "Hey,
Yes.
I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I need help. Can you help me?"
Yes.
I ended up finding this girl named Avery Atkinson. I will never forget her. She's still like I featured her in my magazine not too long ago. I reached out to her. She helped me. She helped me with Charlotte and DC. And
Yeah.
it was just a ripple effect after that. So that was a long story, but
No,
however,
that's good. Yeah.
in 2023, I believe, I I said I was gonna take another break, because just it's just sometimes it gets
It
so
can be. Yeah,
overwhelming.
I
It gets
agree.
so
Yes.
overwhelming, and here I am again with a job, not just a little good, not just a job, but
Uh
a
huh.
good job again.
Yes. Yes.
I get fired again.
Dang, hold on, wait. I didn't see that part coming.
So I told you had to wait. I told you had to wait for the second. I
Wow.
said, "Watch this story." I get fired again. Not only am I get fired again, this time I get fired again. I'm pregnant with my first baby.
Uh-huh.
I have built this. I have built this business, and not just built it to just for one moment. I built it to sustain. I
Yeah.
built two offices for them. I was making good money. I was running corporate meetings. I was. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I was out. I was traveling.
Yeah.
I was doing it.
Yeah.
And one day they call me in and I lose my job.
Wow.
So here I am in 2023, pregnant, first child. I had
Yeah.
just lost my mother.
Oh.
I had just was like, I, I felt like I was in my prime in my career.
Yeah.
I felt like this was it for me. Like this is where God wants me, and this is where I want to be. I'm making money every 2 weeks. I am doing
Mm.
what I love every two
Yeah.
weeks. And here I am in the same position that I
Mm.
was in 2017. So, God,
Yeah.
what do I do?
Yeah.
How do I do it? What do you want me to do? What are you saying to me? Because I feel though as though I get to a very good position in jobs and careers, and all of a sudden you just keep
Yeah.
you're taking them. You're taking them,
Yeah.
and maybe because my focus is not on what I originally had, which is all things Loop and Action Magazine, but it always happens. So in 2023, I said, okay, okay, guy,
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll say because it's something that I'm missing. I'm
Right.
missing something,
Yeah.
and I'm tired. I know you tired of me, but I'm tired. I'm tired of going around this
I
bush
feel that. Yeah.
again. I'm tired of it. So 2023, I've been going since then. I took a little break because I got pregnant twice.
Mm-hmm.
I got pregnant twice. I got pregnant twice. But at the end of the day, I didn't take as many breaks as I did before because I just don't want to go around this
Right.
cycle again. I don't know what God is trying to teach me. I don't know what He's doing. But I am trusting Him every day. As I
Yeah.
go through all things loop and going on to this. I just did Chicago two
And
weeks
I
ago.
saw, and it
Yeah, I
looked
just did.
amazing.
Yeah, I just did Chicago, and so I'm just really for real out here trusting. Like when I say I'm really out here trusting, I really am. And so
Girl,
that's my backstory in media. That's what it is for me. And yeah,
it's the trusting for me
yeah,
because as an entrepreneur, I feel like us entrepreneurs, no shade at 9 to 5ers, but we got a different level of faith. There
listen,
is a different level of trust that you
yeah,
learn as an entrepreneur because, as a 9 to 5er, we get that check every 2 weeks. We know what it's going to be. We can plan based around this is the amount of money I'm getting. And
hmm
then when it comes to being an entrepreneur, it's like,
we
whoa,
don't know.
I don't know if they
hmm
going to hire me this week or next. So what? And then the bills, they still on the same days, but you just like,
Listen,
the Lord will provide. He might be a week
listen,
late, but he's still on time.
listen. That's the real part of it. Like
Yes.
you really are out here trusting. You may have a 10,000 day, and in that next moment, it could be -0, and you
That part.
like what is going going
Like, what am
on? What happened? Like, what am I doing
that
wrong? What are
part?
you? And so
Literally.
yeah, it's something that's really, yeah, trusting for real.
Yeah, and what you just said, I experienced it last year. I think around September, I had a $7,000 month, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, oh my goodness, like look at us. Job was only paying 3,000. Look at how we out here. And then the next month, I was like, "We out here. Y'all need some pictures." But what I think is so good, what I think is so good is that God had me read a specific scripture in Proverbs where it talks about the ants and the work ethic of the ants, and I remember that God was showing me how
Oh my
the
goodness,
ants
my bishop
prepare.
just preached on that last Sunday.
See, God,
He just
alignment.
preached on it.
Alignment. So with that thought in mind, God was showing me like just like the ants, they have a certain a work ethic that they prepare for what's coming. And so God had to start teaching me because when I got that 7,000, did I handle it properly? Absolutely not. If I'm just being transparent, but
Yeah.
He showed me when I start to give you things, I need you to start preparing for what's coming. Don't just live in this moment because I think as humans sometimes we get so stuck in this moment. What can I get that's in front of me? What can I do in front of me right now? But we're not
Yeah.
looking at fast forward. There may be things, I hear God telling me to say this right now. He tells us to store things up because he knows there's something that's coming that
Mm,
if we store it up, if we store up the wealth, if we store it up, we'll be able to actually pay for it instead of being like thirsty for money. Like, oh my goodness, I gotta try to figure out how I'm gonna do this. No, if I stored it up in the first place and I waited for him to tell me how to spend it, then I can have it directed towards what's coming.
yeah, absolutely. I love it. I absolutely love that because the fact of the matter is that we don't know when it's coming.
Exactly.
And when, and if but if we are prepared in some type of
That part.
way, we won't be so anxious. We won't be so
Exactly.
anxious about everything. So I totally agree. I totally agree. And when I tell you, my bishop just preached on that no, the Sunday before, and it
Uh huh.
convicted me because
Yeah.
you in this thing you get so like, what is going on? Like
Uh huh.
you got me out here looking just what? But then when he
I'm out here.
preached it, right, I'm out here. And so when he preached it, it was sort of like, oh my goodness, like be diligent, be
That
real
part.
diligent, Kenya.
Yes.
Like you have to be diligent in this thing, and it's
Yes.
going to work. So, yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree.
So something you had said in the beginning was you were talking about how you help people build not in isolation, but you help them come out of that and be
Yeah.
able to build real collaboration. So I want to know from your perspective, why do you think people often build in isolation?
Numerous things, people can't trust others, they
That's real.
scared,
Yeah.
like and it's a scary feeling to be able to give someone your ideas or
Yeah.
give someone something that you feel that is close, or that's very very close, that you maybe I prayed about it and now
Right.
you
Yes.
asking me to lend what I prayed about to somebody else, or and I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest thing for a lot of people. They just can't trust. But I've learned that discernment is very key in this thing. And
That's
when
good.
you can't trust them, you don't give everybody everything.
That's
You
good.
don't give everybody everything that you have prayed about. You give it in
That's good.
pieces. You give it
That's
in
good.
parts so you
Right.
can know.
So
Oh,
you
I
could
can trust them
test.
to win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
can
That's
trust them
good.
with this, but I can't trust them with that. I
Yeah.
can
That's
trust
good.
them a little with it. So it's about discernment, and I learned that very early on in my career about the discernment of what I can trust. Because then if you go in that way and knowing that you just give people little pieces, see what they work with, then
Yeah.
you will be able to know. Oh, I can't trust them all the way. So I'm not going to give them everything that I have.
That's
And
good.
so that's the trusting part of it. And I think that it's just scary for people. People have
Right.
built business and built things off of just really just straight hustle. And
Right.
I'm not gonna give it to you just like that. So I think it's just a
Yeah.
really a trust factor for so many people.
The fact that you mentioned discernment, that's actually something that I was thinking, that we definitely have to be
Hmm.
discerning, and obviously in partnership with
Yeah.
the Holy Spirit, because for me, something he has had to teach me how to do is be quiet, because I
Mm-hmm.
have the personality where I'm like, well, he didn't gave me this beautiful thought idea, so let me go and tell the people because it's so good. And even with this podcast, the beginning of this podcast, as I was building it up behind the scenes, I told no one about it at all.
Yeah.
It was 3 months I spent in silence by myself and God,
That's
and I
good.
didn't tell anybody about it. And then when I did start telling people, I only told like my mom and one of my closest friends. And I remember I had a dream, and in this dream, I was pregnant. I was pregnant
Hmm.
with a baby, and long story short, the baby was super close to me, but literally as I was giving birth, a nurse had stole the baby, and I had to go and try and get my baby back. And when I woke
Wow.
up and God gave me the interpretation, he was telling me, I need you to be so I need you to protect what I've given you, because there are people that will try to take away what I've given you. And he was showing me there was intelligence in silence. Like, it's
Oh,
not
that's
that
so
it's
good.
who come on, Jesus, for the sound bites. That's how you know when
That's
it's
so
God
good.
moving,
That's so
okay?
good.
And he was telling me that it's okay for me to talk about it when he tells me and releases it. But right now, oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. Right now, I need you to be silent, because another thing he showed me is I get distracted. When I get to
Mm-hmm.
opening my mouth and opinions come in, I'll stop taking in what he says, and I start like a dog squirreling all around on these other things, and now I'm not
Mm-hmm.
focused on the main point at hand. And so I believe that God needed me to trust him with the intimacy of his plan and just stay focused on the plan. And then when I
Yeah.
came out and I started sharing it with people, I already had the solid foundation, because I spent so much time with him, to where it was like, oh no, I won't break, shake, or bend to anything that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't align with what he told me to do with this
Yeah.
podcast, because I spent so much time with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. I think that preparation as well is
Yeah.
sometimes the reason why they don't want you, they're not prepared for
I agree.
uh, everything that God will do.
That's good.
I say this all the time, and I mean it from the core of me. I'm very careful. I love relationships, and I know how to build them, but I'm very very careful. And I've always been like that. Sometimes I always say sometimes that it's kind of a gift and a curse for me too, because
Yeah.
I'm so careful that I'm like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
what's going on, and that's when that discernment comes. But I want to be prepared for
Right.
whatever it is that God
Right.
has for me. And
Yeah.
sometimes I just don't feel like we are prepared. So that may be a hindrance for us,
Right. That's good.
on top of not trusting us, not being fully prepared for everything that what all God wants to put in our hands.
That's super good. And even in the thought of being prepared, it makes me think about our mind being prepared, because sometimes we might expect God to give us everything at once, and that
Yeah.
typically doesn't happen. But
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that our mind has to be prepared to move how he tells us to move, to
Yeah.
shift when he tells us to shift, and to even move in that place of unexpected, which leads me to one of my other questions. So I love how you mentioned you would go into the DMs. I think that the social media culture that we have today, it has become more of a salesy culture, and I
Mm-hmm.
do not really see people projecting or saying like, oh, I go to the DMs. I've been seeing some of my guests say it, but I haven't seen like, these bigger people say it, because obviously they got this big following. But
Yeah.
I, on my own, like, something I started doing was literally I started going into people's comments and DMs and just saying, just really being social. And I keep
Mm-hmm.
saying on several episodes, I am in the social media area where I'm making social media social again. But
Mm-hmm.
my question for you is, was there a fear that you might have had when you were going into the DMs? And if you had that fear, how did you get over it to be able to just start doing it?
You know what? I said this on live yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I literally just had an urgency to do it.
Mm.
Just a urgency to move, whether I was fearful, whether I felt like no one was going to respond. because it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
After I did that first tour, I understood that it's a numbers game. I may reach out to 500 people, may get back only five responses.
That's real.
It's okay. It's a numbers game. But if I don't reach out to anyone, then
That's good.
what's going to happen? You know
Nothing.
what happens to your baby? What happens to the business if
That's good.
you don't reach out to anyone? So how do I keep doing it? It's just an urgency. You gotta make it over to the other side, and if you
That's
don't do
good.
anything, then you can't
That's
make
good.
it.
That's very
It
good.
just doesn't work. And so I had to remind myself that this week. All the time, like, tapping back into my network. I'm all about just going reaching back out. And then so I had to tap. I said, Kenya, you've been telling these people to tap back in your network, but you have not tapped back in your network. What are
That's real.
you doing to make sure that you are ready for May, the end of
Yeah.
April? And so
Yeah.
I reached back out to people and was like, hey, y'all know what I'm doing. Hey, I need for you to support X, Y, and Z. I think I did like 40 DMs yesterday. I got two responses. But that's two more responses that I didn't have yesterday.
Exactly. That's good. That's good.
So if I don't reach out, then what happens? Like,
Right.
so for me, it's a numbers game. And then also for me as well, if I don't do it, then what happens? I sit here and just wait, or do I sit and they figure out a plan and strategy and then do it? And so it's just all about urgency for me. I was telling on my live the other day, it's just that when you have that urgent feeling, and I've had it since January, that I just really have to go. I really have
Yeah.
to just do it, because if I don't do it, I'll procrastinate. I'll
That
sit
part.
and
So good. So good.
I'll say, oh, God gonna do it, but how he gonna do it? Kenya, you not
Oh my
helping
goodness.
him.
Oh
How
my
you
gosh.
gonna do it? Can you stop? I have to literally tell myself all the time, like, Kenya, he can't help if you're not even doing anything.
That
So
part.
the urgency of just doing it, and it may sound so cliche, but it's really is true. Just do it. Like, it just have to do it.
It's so beautiful that you said that, because behind the scenes I am working on something I'm going to bring to the forefront later on this year, which is my coaching program. I can tell people what's going on. And
Ooh, all right,
one
coaching
of,
program.
hey girl, okay. One of the things that God told me that is my gift. Number one, I believe I do operate from the gift of faith. I believe it, and I've also learned that a part of faith are works that match your faith. And
Hmm.
what you just mentioned was works. It's literally works that match my faith. And what I love is that how can God bless something if I don't have the works that show I believe in what he's gonna do. And
Yeah.
oftentimes we try to determine what the outcome is, and when we determine the outcome, that's when we feel this sense of rejection. But when you really trust in God, and I mean really trust in God and allow him to be the final say or have the final say, you won't worry about what's going to happen when I do the works. Your job is just to do the work and
Yeah.
allow him to bless the work that's been done. When it came to my business, I kid you not, one of the opportunities that I have that I tell people about, all I did after I quit my job, 3 days after I quit the job, I literally went to this place. God told me to talk to so many people in this room. I'm going to be honest. I was a little annoyed at God because I was like, I keep getting these rejections. Why are they rejecting me, Lord? This is embarrassing. You telling me put myself out there. I'm going to be personally real with myself. I hate hearing no, but it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I've started to. I'm gonna come back to that thought. I do hate hearing no, but I've learned to deal with it. But
Yeah.
I was in position, and what I did was I just kept going around the room, and there was this one person he told me to go talk to, and I kept saying no because everybody else rejected me. I talked to this person. Long story short, this one moment, 3 days into quitting my job,
Change your whole
literally
direction.
led to where I am now, having a contract with this organization. And so I have come to understand, number one, I don't have to know why God is telling me to do something. I just trust him enough to do it. I told one of my friends earlier today. I said, one of the videos I'm about to put out is trust God with the first step. Because what Abraham did was he trusted him with the first step. When God told him to go to the land, when he told him to leave your family, leave what was familiar, all he did was give him a first step. And guess
First
what? That
step.
first step led to a promise for generations to be able to receive. And so I am in the business of, let me just listen the first time to the first step. Let me not overthink it, because there is something on the other side, like you just said. It's something on the other side if I just take that first step. And so I love the fact that you
Oh,
said
that
there was
first
an
step, that
urgency.
first step just gave. Oh, that first step is good to me.
It's gonna break, cause look, just best believe I got a video that I'm finna let these people know. He done told me, he been ministering to me all week about the first step.
Wow,
That first
that's
step is
so
crucial.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been talking about my founding 50 of the subscription for the magazine, and so I'm not a salesy type of person. I'm just Kenya.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pitch stuff to people. Like
I
just
feel
just
that.
buy it. I promise you, I'm gonna do right by you. But just buy it,
Yeah.
whatever. And so I was looking today, and I have been pitching, and I told you I've been going into people DMs and things of that sort. And so I went into the website because I don't like to look at the numbers at that point because I'm like I don't know what it's gonna look like. So
Right.
but you gotta be mature at some point. So you
Yeah.
go in and I see it, and I see these views, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So people are looking at it. Okay, let me figure out why is it not converting. So I went to something else and I was like, oh, three people done converted. It's just a numbers game.
That's so good. Ooh.
It just makes me so what I felt like, I'm like, dang, the first step was for me to do it. I had
Right.
to do it. I got to do it. Then I looked again, three people converting. So now, okay, I got a strategy now. This is how we're
Yes.
gonna move forward. This is what we're gonna do. And so
Yes.
it's all about just doing it. I just
Even how you just said, after you did it, then you started to get a strategy. After I do stuff, God started giving me the strategy. Like, I kid you not, I went into a
yeah,
meeting and can I just be real?
absolutely.
Sometimes I go into a meeting and I might not have all of the credentials, I might not have all of the experience, but when I get into the meeting, I pray and I ask the Holy Spirit to guide my tongue. And there are often times He will tell me something and I say it
Hmm.
to the people, and the people will be like, "Oh my goodness, like that's great. Let's do that." And
Yeah,
then let's say, because in real life this has happened several times. Let's say we decide, okay, we're gonna move forward with this deal, this arrangement. So we do, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, Lord, what we just commit to? I don't even know how I'm finna pull this off. And then
yeah,
I kid you not, as I continue taking that first step, because the first step is continual. We walk by faith and not by sight. We're literally
yeah,
walking. Walking is a step-by-step routine. We're walking in step with the Spirit as He leads us. We say, order my steps, Lord. Your word is a light unto my feet and a lamp unto my feet and a guide unto my path. Literally, He's leading us. Girl, I got so many scriptures coming to my mind right now, but He's leading us. And so what I've learned to do is, as I'm moving forward, I have confidence that if God is with me, literally, I can do anything that He tells me to do. And so I say this to say, going back to what you said, the strategy is in the action. The strategy is in the works. When you begin to move, strategy follows. Just like going back to Abraham. When he began to move, there was already provision that was attached to the vision. Sometimes you just got to take step into the
yeah.
vision to be able to see the provision that comes with it.
I love
Man,
it.
this is so
I
good.
love it.
This is so
I
good.
love it. I love it.
So, okay, so going back to the community, one thing that I remember specifically about you that got my attention was, a lot of people on social media talk about building a new community, and you, on the other hand, you talked about leveraging the community that you already have, the network that you already have. And so I want you to share with us more about how do we leverage the community that we already have.
Yeah, so one of the ways that we can leverage the community that we already have is to nurture them.
Mm,
Always start off with value. A lot of people always come in with an ask. If we are trying to be in community, and I want to go deeper into community, but if we're trying to be in deeper into relationship, you give before you ask, so
that's
that's
good.
one of the ways that that's the biggest step, especially when it's people that you have worked with before. They already know that how you roll. They already know that you do great work, because if they didn't, then they'd be blasting you on social
Yeah,
media, or it'd be some type of thing where they'll be like, I don't want to work with you no more, which in that
yeah,
case, whatever. But if they have already worked with you, and if they already have raved about your what you've done, then you stay in some type of communication with them. Maybe you go with them in the next 6 months and say, hey, this is what I'm working on, maybe this may be a benefit for you,
that's good.
and then the conversation can start like that. And
That's good.
or you could say, hey, I seen this opportunity, and I think this will be really, really great for you. That can be the first step to recommunicating and reconnecting, reactivating that actual network in some type of way. And then you nurture it. You check in with them, not just for likes or whatever they can get, but for
That's good.
genuineness, and
That's
being
very good.
genuine with someone, being saying like, I saw your story and you said that you wasn't feeling good. Are you feeling okay now?
That's so good.
It's just being genuine with people.
Yeah,
And then you maybe you can do an ask, maybe you can just say the second, after some time of you nurturing, then you can say, hey, I have this opportunity and I would love for you to be involved. They won't look at you crazy, or they won't look at that DM crazy, because you have nurtured them. You have
that's
shown them
good.
that some type of friendliness. You have shown them that you want to really connect with them because of what they bring, and because of what you
That's so
bring as
good.
well. You believe that you and me together will really make something really great. And so that's how you really connect with your people, is just really being able to bring value to the connection and the relationship, because that's what's going to really take it to the next level. So and then you never know what may happen. If you haven't spoke with someone in more than a year, then it may take a little bit longer. But however, know and understand that relationships, sometimes it can take time. Sometimes you can hit it
That's so
off, and it
good.
never and you never have to do a nurturing. You just really just hit it off with someone, and those are two different type of things. However, you still can be able to reconnect with people in some type of way as well.
As far as sales go, I'm the same way. Like, I'm not salesy. Like, first of all,
Right.
I'm not about to beg you for nothing, because that's just not my personality. Whether you buy it or not ain't got nothing to do with me. That's fine. And that's why I said, going back to my, like, I hate no's. I've actually become okay with no's, because I've realized that
Yeah.
everything is not for me, and I don't want everything.
Yeah.
And so instead of
Yeah.
taking things as rejection, I just take it as God has his own selection for who I'm supposed to work with. At this point, the Holy Spirit is out here talking that talk, cuz I ain't never said these words so good about life.
Yeah.
But I love what you said. Everything that you said, it spoke to me, especially when you were talking about just leveraging that relationship. I think that one of the best things that I've learned in business is I just build relationships. My customers come through relationship. People trust me because I show up for them as just a person, and because we have those relationships, a lot of people talk. The one thing that is so funny to me is I have not marketed Fire Ash Media the way I would like to. I market this
Mhm.
podcast way better than I do Fire Ash Media. But it's so funny to me. I am constantly booked for Fire Ash Media because people
Wow.
do the marketing for me. Word of mouth is so powerful because number one, when it comes to my every client, I treat every client with care. They don't just come
Mhm.
in and do work with me. I'm not just trying to get a dollar from you. Most of the
Yeah.
time, I literally make sure they know, like, no, I care about what it is that you want. I want you to
Yeah.
feel like this
Absolutely.
experience is catered to you. Like, photography, it could just be, hey, let me come and take these pictures. Or it could, I tell people, this is self care.
Yeah.
When they walk into the room and they want to take some pictures, I literally say, give me your stuff. Like, let me take this on. All I want you
Yeah.
to do is smile, look pretty, and I might give you a few directions. But like, I want them to feel like this is more than just a sale. This is love.
Mm.
And so the fact that you were mentioning the relationship within it, I think that that's something that we do miss. And often when people try to sell me on something, I don't purchase because I don't feel connected to you, and I don't feel. Sometimes I feel like I'm just a number to you, and if I feel that
Yeah.
way, it's absolutely not. If it's not genuine, and it's so interesting the timing
Mhm.
of our conversation because I had two businesses approach me about a possible like side hustle that I'm embracing or embarking on. And one of the businesses, I think that the way that they communicated how they wanted me to assist, it was so uncertain. It felt very salesy. It felt like make this decision so I can have you selling with me. And I was just like,
Uh,
I was cringing the whole time. I was like, Lord, I feel like you're telling me to go in this direction, but this don't feel right. And then I had another business doing something very, very similar. And again, I felt like the Holy Spirit was telling me this is a lane I want you to be in. But the one company had me feeling like cringe, like, I'm not about to sell to people. I don't like selling. And then the other company had me like, this feels like home. Like this feels like so genuine.
mhm.
Like when they
It's a
started teaching me
difference.
that.
It's a difference. It's a difference. It's a difference. Let me tell you how much of a
Go
difference
ahead.
this is. Actually, I don't even want to cut you off,
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
but I, with the 30, with the Chicago edition, I got people's emails and things like that. So what I'm going to do, they probably noticed, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to nurture them. I'm going to show them how it really is to nurture them. So maybe the first couple of days or whatever, I sent them an email, didn't ask for anything. I gave them something that I probably didn't give to other people, but I gave them something. I gave
Yeah.
them something that was of my heart. I gave them some. I gave them tools, and then this other email that I'm sending out, I'm gonna give them something. I'm gonna give them an
Yeah.
opportunity that I heard from one of my friends that I feel like is a really, really good opportunity for
Wow.
entrepreneurs and business owners. So I'm gonna give. I'm gonna
That's
give,
good.
and I'm gonna give. These 30 people are gonna be my actual experiment of giving
That's
and
good.
nurturing so they can see and so other people can see that it works. People want to know that you care about them
Right.
and that you
That's
care
so
about
good.
them for real. Like not
Yeah.
just for play but for real. And so when people say to me like you said, I feel like I know her. It's not an act for me. Because I
Right.
want people to treat me the same way that I treat them. So
I
when you come
agree.
to speak to me, hey, how you doing? It's not nah, no, hey, how you doing? How can we be of assistance to each other?
Right.
And
Yes, that's
so
good.
just like when, it's just so many instances I can tell you that, relationship building and relationship driven, it works. And it doesn't and it won't work if you're just doing it for money. Let me just say that. It won't work if you're just doing it just for likes
Wrong
and things like
intentions.
that. So it just won't work. You have to have a genuineness about people. You have to have a genuineness about who you're working with because it's gonna show after a while, like, oh, she don't really care about me, or he don't really want to work with me. All he wanted was my numbers, and that's
Yeah.
not what I'm in the business of doing. When I say I really want to build relationships, I'm very selective on those building. If they come to me, I'm definitely praying about it. I'm definitely seeing how God wants me to move about it, around it. But it has to be about really relationships. We cannot just do something for likes anymore because those likes can get you something that you may not even want.
Yeah.
Though that money, I know that we want money and I want money as well, but the root of money, that's evil. Like that's evil. It has to be good money, and I want good money in this season. And so when I talk about relationships, I just don't talk about it just to be saying it. Like I talk about it because I know what has built my brand, and I know what will really work for people, and just being genuine towards them as
Yeah.
well.
I'm also a believer that when I take care of things or people, they take care of me. Sorry, I thought it went out for a second. But when you take care of
I get
people,
to.
typically people will take care of you, and that's what I've learned. Like,
Absolutely.
especially in my business, I girl, one of the opportunities, I feel like everything in my business is a testimony because I don't understand how I've
Absolutely.
gotten to where I am. So one of my clients, I remember last year, God told me, like, take care of him. He literally said, like, take care of him. And I was like, okay. And so God had told me, number one, that I needed to give him a free photo shoot. That like, literally, I just started
Wow.
doing work with him behind the scenes. It was all free. And I just heard God tell me, he was like, Ashley, I can't believe you're doing this stuff for me and you're doing it, for free. I done did so many photos with him, and I did video content for him for free. And once again, I just kept hearing the Holy Spirit say, take care of him, because this is not just you serving him, you're serving me, because I need him to see
Wow.
something about himself through the service that you're giving him. So I remember we did this photo shoot, and one of the pictures that I edited, he looked like he was on the cover of a magazine. And I
Wow.
sent it to him, and he was like, Ashley, number one, I've never done a photo shoot. Number two, I've never seen myself this way. He said, it makes me feel like I'm literally supposed to be on like Forbes magazine. He said, I feel like the vision that I've had this whole time, you were able to show it to me through this picture, right? This is last year, giving free, just for the free, for the love, because God telling me to do it.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, at the end of the year, my man comes back to me with some funding and says, Ashley, now it's time to do work. I could go hire one of these bigger companies, but I trust, because you were faithful over me and trusting me to come through. This man came to me with a real life contract. And I ain't saying no little skimpy contract. I'm saying, like, he really came through. And I was like, wow, Lord, like, because I just stewarded well this person, I could not take on additional, like, photo shoots outside of my two contracts. I could not take on photo shoots and everything would be paid for. I would be covered. I take on those other things just because it's a part of what I like doing. But the way that God has set it up is I stewarded well two opportunities. And it took time. My primary contract, I met with them 80,000 times to literally finalize where we are. And I love the CEO because, or the director, he had told me, he said, Ashley, I did this process for a reason. He said, I really needed to be able to see if this was right for us. And also I needed to make sure that this was worth the investment. And after so many times of just nurturing that relationship, as you have worded it, so much of nurturing, I'm watching that nurture. I'm watching the seeds begin to blossom. I'm watching me be able to harvest on what was sown. And even again, like with some of my other clients that just come and they go, one thing I need to get better at is my newsletters. I can be honest with myself and say I need to get better with the newsletters. But I'm also the kind of person, I am your biggest cheerleader. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe not your biggest because you got other cheerleaders, but I am one of your biggest supporters. And so when it comes to my clients, to me, their wins are my wins. The
Yeah.
part of me feels like, if you win, I won, because we connected. And I think, again, once having this kind of mindset is what helps leverage bringing in more relationships, because like I said, people tell other people about me.
Yeah.
And one thing that I oftentimes hear is like, oh, I just love Ashley personality, like she's so cool and easy to work with. And like, for me, that is a flex. I love when
Yeah.
people say stuff like that. Yeah.
It's a flex.
Yeah, it makes me feel very good, like, oh, they like me, I
Absolutely.
appreciate y'all. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's definitely a flex. I welcome things like that because no one wants to work with someone that's hard to work with. Like what? Like
Right.
no. Like what? Get me out of here. Like what? Who
That
am I
part.
talking to? Like
Yeah.
so when people say, when you talk to Kenya, you're gonna feel at home. I welcome things like that. Now, if we're not supposed to work together, I welcome that as well. So I can let you down easily. You can let me
That
down
part.
easily.
That part. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a part of the game, like it's just a part of, what we're doing. But absolutely. I love that you said about the stewardship because it works. You know how many jobs I've took that I have not gotten paid for, that I did not get paid for, but set me up for my next in my
That part.
career.
That part.
And I'm not telling anybody to take anything, whatever. I'm just saying my
Right.
journey. You know
Yeah. Yeah.
what it is that I took so many opportunities where they were free. I learned everything I needed to learn, and then God said, "Okay, I can give you more."
Yeah.
So
That part.
I believe in stewardship in relationships. I believe in, like, if God tell me to do something for free, I already know there is a setup for
I
me to do
know
something
that
really
part.
good. Because why you tell me this?
Exactly.
You know
Look,
what's
girl,
going on.
like you know where I'm at, Jesus. You know what's going on. I
Yeah.
love what you said about like that. It goes back to that scripture. If you be faithful over a few
Mhm.
things, He'll make you a ruler over
Mhm.
many. And I believe that that is everything. Everything. I
Yeah.
believe He just requires us to be faithful over the things that we have. Like I remember, I think the prophet Elijah had met with a widow, and literally she had to go make flour. She had to go make food out of what she just
Mhm.
had in her hands,
Yeah.
and it was like God will show you, I have given you what you need in your hands.
Yeah.
It's literally just in your hands. And sometimes in your hands mean it's in your heart, it's in your mind,
Mhm.
it's in your personality. Everything you need is within you. And if you can handle doing something with what you have currently, imagine when I give you more, I'm going to give you more because I'm going to
Yeah.
equip you with more so you can handle the more that's coming.
Yeah.
And on that thought, you made me I'm just as we're talking, I'm processing like my own life according to the
Mhm.
conversation that we're having, and you made me think about how just with these relationships, how I'm realizing like, man, I'm realizing how good God has really set me up. This is amazing.
It
I
makes you
almost got
think like,
sidetracked. Yeah.
dang God, this is what you wanted all along. And if we
Yeah.
do right by people, listen, I feel like the sky is the limit. You can't burn bridges and think that good things are gonna,
Right.
happen.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do right by people. If the business is not right or whatever it is, make it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe in that. I wholeheartedly believe that you have to do right by people. You have to do right by your relationships. You have to do right by where you're going, because if you don't, it's not gonna be saying it's not gonna be good. It's just not gonna be
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
for the future self in business. You have to do right by people.
And so I was thinking about something and I forgot what I wanted to say, and you just reminded me. So I'm going to say that first because I don't want to
Okay.
forget again. Something you inspired me to think about is value. So
Mhm.
something that I tell people is that I am open to value exchange because I
Mm.
believe that value comes in more than just a form of money.
Yeah.
Sometimes value can be, it can be different. It can come in a different package than what I originally thought.
Mhm.
I have like several mentors, coaches, and people that just are in my circle to help me. And so I remember one of them, she's a strategic coach, and so she gave me. We looked at the value of what it is that I do and what she does, and I realized that I wanted a coaching session with her, and she realized that she wanted some footage. And the
Yeah.
beautiful thing is, we were able to have a common ground. So I don't say bartering. I'm gonna be honest. I don't say that. I say value exchange because I want
I
to
love
exchange
it.
value. Because I've been in bartering situations where I felt like I didn't get the value that I put in, and
Yeah.
I felt like I walked away. Really stressed out and not really taken care of. And so when I was working with one of my people, we literally, I exchanged some footage for her. She gave me some coaching sessions. Them coaching sessions saved me so much time because I was gonna try and
Yeah.
figure out something on my own, and she handled it. The footage part was so easy. It was like, oh, I don't mind doing this for you. This is my easy
Mhm.
lane. That's your easy lane. Let's exchange. I have
I
another
love that.
person. One of my homegirls who I absolutely adore. She does locks, and obviously I do videos. She had a new content idea she wanted to do, and so we came together. We filmed her content idea based off of how much my sessions cost and how much her hair sessions cost. She was like, okay, this is how many times you can get your hair done, and this for this amount of time that we're doing footage
I
and
love
swap.
that.
Girl, I'm getting my hair done this Saturday because we value exchange. And like she knows, like I feel like I got this hat on because I'm just like, Jesus, my hair not done. But she knows like I want to get my hair done,
Mhm.
regularly. So it was such a great exchange to where it
I
didn't feel
love
like
it.
I got stressed out. and she got stressed out. We didn't. We walked away from the value exchange feeling like, oh, this was very helpful. And so,
Yeah.
I want to say to the audience, like, you never know how being open to exchanging value, even if it doesn't look like money, because sometimes if you're starting out, it may not look like a money exchange, because sometimes when you're starting out, you don't have all the funds to be able to do things. But if you can exchange value with someone where, one, please agree on it and make sure each person feels like they're walking away with the value. Number two, don't sell yourself short, because sometimes what we'll do is we will give away things for free, but we don't exchange anything. Now, I am a giver, but I also believe the business got to run on something. And so how can we exchange together in a collaboration instead of just a one-way exchange? And so one of my other questions that I have is based off of you knowing how to leverage your community. I want you to speak to the person who may not even know who their community is, or that they have a community in front of them. How do they begin to identify their network? If they have one, how do they identify that?
Yeah, so one of the things that I began to do maybe the latter part of December, and this is so simple, and maybe I don't know if it's supposed to be a deeper deeper answer than this, but I did a lot of surveys. I looked at the people who were liking my stuff, who were giving me a lot more engagement.
Yeah.
I sent out a survey, and most of the surveys came to be business owners. Then that's why it switched from solopreneurs to business owners,
Yeah.
because I started to realize, oh, that's not my audience. That's
Exactly.
not who I am speaking to.
Yeah.
So I just began to figure out who were the people who were supporting me the
That
most.
part.
Well,
Yes.
who do they look like? What do they do? How do
Yeah.
they act? What do
Yep.
they need? I can't be able to service them if I don't know what they need or
That
what they
part.
do or how I am able to be of help to me or assist to them. So that's what I did. Once you find out, and I know that's such a cliche thing to say in some ways, like, how do I know? But you have to do something to, and it doesn't even have to be a survey like I did. You can literally just see in who supports you. Who
I
supports you
agree.
the most?
I agree.
If it's black business women, those are the
Oh,
people
yeah,
that you need
exactly.
to tap back into. And if it's men that that's in Washington D.C., those are the people that you need to tap back into. And so I know a lot of people may say, they don't know or they don't think they have a community. Everyone has a
We do.
community.
Exactly.
Everyone has someone that wants to see what you have going on.
I
So there
agree.
is no way for you to be on here and you say you don't have a certain audience, a certain community, or you feel that, that audience is kind of oversaturated. There is someone for you. There is
Right.
a group of a tribe of people for you that you can tap back into. And I believe once I did that, and just really tried to figure out what am I supposed to say to these people, how can I help, that's when things has begun to change for me, because I'm looking at the lens of the people that who support me, because they are the ones that want more from Kenya. They're the ones that want more from All Things Loop. And so once I figured that out, then I feel and I know that I'm on a good track of being very, very successful with this thing.
Yeah. So I'm so glad that you said that, because I think I was telling my mom the other day. I said, for so I have my company Fire Ash Media, but I also do like some coaching and mentoring on the side. And I told my mom for Fire Ash Media, I said, God will show you who your audience is, because
Yeah,
they will be the people constantly demanding the service or
yeah,
asking the questions. And typically, when I'm working with people, especially in branding, I ask them who comes to you the most. Like literally,
yeah,
who's asking you for the service? Who's asking you for who is asking you the most questions? And so for my business, I've realized churches hire me all the time. Churches
mhm,
love working with me. They love being able to hire me for photography. And so I know one of my lanes is churches. I
yeah,
love churches. I also recognize that business owners are, and it's mine is specific. Christian business owners typically are the ones that are coming to me. And I
Yeah.
told my mom, I said, the beauty of being a Christian business owner is, though I'm not saying like I'm not working with anybody else, I am setting a standard that I am Christian and my business flows from the operation of the Holy Spirit. And
Yeah.
what I love is that I was telling my mom the other day, I said, I love how in my business, I don't have to sacrifice my faith because literally my faith puts me in the room to do what I love and get paid for what I love. You know,
Yeah.
I went to an event last night. I had to go take some pictures for a church. I kid you not, as I'm taking pictures, they're preaching, and I'm like, dang, I get to listen to this good word and take the pictures. I went to a revival this past weekend, and I had to record film, and I'm like, dang, like I was like, God, you needed me in a room to get this word and to be able to
Yeah.
provide this service. And like just being in position, it led to further conversation on me being able to do something for them that I do for another organization. And so,
Yeah.
you know, I just think that, you know, number one, God will put you in spaces, and it goes back to what you said earlier. Being prepared to be in the room that has been prepared to receive you.
Yeah.
I believe that rooms are prepared to receive you. Audiences are prepared to receive from you, but you just have to be prepared to walk in that room and walk in it with confidence that you are the answer. You are the solution. Just like you, Kenya, you're the solution. You, the fact that, first of all, when you featured me in one of the latest articles, I was like, oh, I'm for sure finna go get me. I'm for sure finna go order this for myself because I want to see myself and I want to see, you know, it was
Yeah.
like, even though I didn't know I was gonna be in it, that was like, oh, I'm definitely gonna be one of the converters. Actually, when we get off, I need to make sure I go and convert myself tonight. But you know, like that, I felt like that to me. If I'm just being honest, I felt like
Yeah.
that was good strategy. Whether it was thought of a strategy, I thought it was great strategy.
Ashley, see, you got it, but it's all about the nurturing. Like it wasn't,
Yeah.
it
It
wasn't,
made me feel honored. But
it
look,
wasn't,
it was two
it
way. Go
wasn't a
ahead.
lie, right, right. It wasn't a lie, but it was also strategy behind it. It was also being like, it was
Girl,
also,
my marketing brain was like, this is smart because number one, let's just be real with the people on marketing. Number one, I felt like you cared enough about me to highlight me and go and do some research on me and put me into your magazine. That was, to me, that was number one. That was
yeah,
care. And then as we go to the marketing side, my thought process was, well, number one, if I pay for it, that was a good strategic move. Number two, if I share with my audience, then my audience might want to read about me and these other people. So now she done touched me and my audience. I just thought it was strategy. Like, I thought it was some good, brilliant work.
that was the point of it, to not only show that I care, because we, again, if we understand, we had a conversation before.
Right.
We had a conversation. We talked. I felt like, okay, this is really good. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me wrong. I think I sent you something. If I didn't, I probably should have. But then the backhand of it was like, I need to do something good for Ashley, because we kind of had,
Yeah,
just a
you did send
conversation.
me something. Yeah, because we said something in our first conversation. We was like, that's good. And then you sent me a post that you made based off of that. Yeah.
It's
And
just
it made
about
me feel good too. Just saying.
it's just about strategy. It's genuineness. Like I didn't do anything, outlandish. I just celebrated you in some type of way that I knew
Yes.
that would motivate you to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all about it's all about how you do it. It's all about how, and I nurtured it. I nurtured it. I
You
did. I
did.
did. Okay, you know what? I want to do more for this person. It's a
That was a
value.
real
It's
life
a
example. This is good. This is
I was
so
it was
good.
the value of it. I gave you something.
Yes.
I gave you
You
something.
did. And that's what made me feel like you literally did. You gave me that post. And I was like, wow, she took something from our conversation. Like, it made me, girl, I was like, this is so dope. I feel so honored. And then again, once again, with the magazine, I felt so honored. I'm like, wow. I'm definitely about to at least get my own part. I
Yeah.
gotta.
Yeah.
So, who knew? Who knew? I was a test in the strategy. I was a real life example, guys. clearly, and what I love is that I knew it was genuine. Once
Yeah.
again, I didn't feel it. Didn't feel salesy.
Mhm.
It didn't feel like you were trying to get something from me.
Yeah.
It literally just felt like you were celebrating me.
Yeah.
And I think when you honor people, I said this a few minutes ago. When you take care of people, people take care of you. Because you
Absolutely.
took care of me, my heart was like, I want to get this article because she did something that was so nice for me. I want to make sure I show my appreciation.
Mhm.
I ain't got to be one of those free people that's just like, I just want it for free. No,
And I
it's
gave
worth
it to
the.
you for free. I gave it to you for free. I gave you the article for free. I wanted you to see it. But the whole behind, and I didn't pressure you to
At
share it.
all.
I just wanted you to see it
You just
because
sent it to me.
just sent it to you because that's what it is. Like because if you don't, and not to say this and no, because if you don't buy it, somebody else
Else
will.
might.
Like somebody else will. I'm just giving what I know because I'm gonna nurture you. I'm gonna
I
nurture you
love
because I
that.
feel like it's this friendship or this relationship is a value. It's a
I agree.
value, and so I wanted to give you something, and I'm nurturing it.
This is so
Expect
good.
something again in maybe about 2 or 3 months. I don't know what that is, but expect
Yeah.
something again. Maybe it's a post about something, that I see,
Wow.
I feel that you should be a part of. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to nurture it because you never know. People, you just have to
This
do
is
right and
so
you have to
good.
nurture people the right way. You never know when you may be in a band. I say, Ashley, hey, I need X, Y, and Z. And it's not to get anything. I don't know when you may need me. And hey, Ashley,
Right, right.
whatever
Yeah.
it may be, but it's all about, I gave that article for free. I didn't say Ashley share with your audience. I didn't say anything. I just gave it because that's just what it is and that's how you nurture it. You never ever go in with the axe. You
With the
always give something of value to people so people can see the genuineness of it because as I stated, if Ashley doesn't buy it, then it's okay. Like I didn't do it for Ashley to buy it. I did it because I wanted to celebrate. Really, for real, wanted to
yes.
celebrate. It's just
Yes.
it's just a part of the marketing strategy that I have,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a genuine. So yeah,
Yeah, when I say I'm wild and I'm inspired, I'm
yeah.
very inspired right now, and that's how I felt after that first conversation. I'm very inspired,
Mhm.
again by you. I don't even want to say leveraging. I want to say I'm very inspired by the way that you operate from a genuine space, and
Yeah,
then obviously you match it with strategy, and I think that that is beautiful.
yeah.
Everything. First of all, we operate under a strategic God. He's very
Hmm.
strategic in everything that he does. And so, why would I try to discredit somebody for being genuine and strategic? It makes sense. I would rather you be genuine and strategic than uncaring and just trying to
Yeah,
use me as another number. And
yeah.
so I truly appreciate you for what you've done, not just for me, but how you have utilized your business, your brand, and your platform. And so I know we are getting to the last part of the interview where I ask one final question. And that final question is one that means so much to me because this is all about mindset shift. And so I want to ask you, if you could leave us with one mindset shift, knowing where we are currently versus where you want us to be, what's the shift in between?
Ooh, um, to always bet on yourself.
Mm,
Do not allow yourself to be the negative person in your story.
yeah.
Like always bet on yourself. I can remember so many times that I had the support. My family supported me. Everybody around me supported me except Kenya. Kenya was the
That's good.
villain in her own story.
That's
And
good.
so if you are the villain in your own story, then I admonish you to really allow you take a step back and to bet on yourself. You
That is
are
so
worthy
good.
of whatever it is that you want, and you can actually do it. So bet on yourself and stop being negative, Nancy. Don't allow the Kenya in you to stop you from doing what everything that you have. And yeah, just bet on yourself.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
So, for anybody that is interested in keeping up with you and learning more about your events and just all things Loop, how can they find you?
Yes, so you can find me on social media at All Things Loop, LOOP. If you want to be one of the founding 50, the link will be in the bio. I'm super excited about the founding 50 because, can I say, Ashley, can I talk about it real quick?
Yeah, yeah. I was about to ask you, what is the Founding 50?
Oh, so the Founding 50 is a community of actual business owners that I'm calling the Connectors Hub. It's $27.99 a year. However, with the $27.99 a year, you get so many perks from me. My first actual Zoom call with a marketing strategist will be in May. So you get so much more. I know that everybody like $27.99 a year. It's a subscription with the magazine. You'll get the magazine. You'll get the podcast. You'll get the group, the WhatsApp group that we're gonna be in, and then you'll get quarterly meetups and things of that sort. And if you know me, I'm always giving something away for free. So I will always give something away for free
I don't know about y'all, but I'm
you
taking my notes.
more than what you will even think about. So you be one of the founding 50. This price will not be this for very, very long. Once I get to my 50, I'm taking it up just because of the value that I
I
know that I
love
will
that.
give to people. So yeah, the founding 50.
I love that. And now that I know what the Founding 50 is, because you just named so much value inside
Hmm.
of, and
Yeah.
they might want to
And
get
the link is
in.
in my bio at All Things Loop or my personal page at Kenya R. Ransom.
They might want to get in
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
because I know that
Yeah.
this yearly membership is going up,
Yeah.
and this is
Yeah. It
a
is.
steal for the Founding 50. That is
Yeah.
dope. Okay, I had to
I
write that
love
down
it. You know
because
how to take something and put it on something now. Listen.
Cause that right there, girl, that right
Yeah.
there. Okay,
But I
so
also did
oh, go
that
ahead.
because I wanted to. I did that as well. I know one of my friends was like, "It's 27.99." You know, people are doing monthly, but I have to be realistic with myself, and I tell people all the time, I have two kids, I
Right,
have a husband, I have a household. I want to be able to give a value to people. I
right.
don't want to just take people money and then we're doing monthly, and I'm not able to give you everything. This way, 27.99 a year, I
That's
know
good.
that I could be able to do a quarterly thing, a give a value quarterly. I
That's
could be
good.
able to give when more of myself with them. Then I can give the magazines along with it. I just want to make sure I didn't just get into this just for money. Like
That's
no,
good.
27.99 is a steal.
It
However,
is.
it's
Yeah,
what I can give and still keep my integrity when I'm doing
that's
it.
good.
And so that's why it's like that. I have to be realistic. I have to really, really be realistic. But once we get to the founding 50 and I see how this first part go, then we'll see how I can kind of maneuver that, with my home, and with my kids and things like that, and my husband. So once we get to that founding 50, then we'll see how we can maneuver and change some things so we can do every other month, maybe, just some things. I just want to make sure I'm very integral when it comes to people money. And I want to
That's
make sure
good.
that I am giving more than I'm asking as well.
That's good. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Wow. Whew. So guys, I don't know about you, but I'm walking away inspired,
Yeah.
encouraged, excited, empowered. I got all the M's. I am so
Yay.
thankful that I was able to have you on today, and also to be able to learn from you. And guys, like I said, if you are interested in keeping up with Kenya, All Things Loop is where you can find her. And also, I just want to always say thank you for tuning in to the episodes, whether live or catching the replay. We thank you for listening in. And once again, you will talk to us on every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm your host, Fire Ash, and we taking our mindset to the next level. So I can't wait to see you back at the table. All right, guys. Peace.